Jose Iglesia, Ivan Iglesia, Collado, and Delaney Iglesia. And when you hear your name, just come on up to the podium. Permission to use dwelling for two-family, family use only pursuant to Islip Town Code, Section 68-419.1, and to leave deck having side yard of 12 feet instead of required 14 feet. Residence B District, south side of Coral Street, 250.29 feet west of Dewey Place, Bay Shore.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Your name and address for the record, please?
I'm Delaney Iglesia.
Jose Iglesia,
And your address?
12 Carroll Street, Bay Shore, New York.
Thank you. You're here on the two-family, family use. I see we have all the paperwork necessary for that. Planning, any comments on the side yard for the deck?
No comment.
No comment. Is there anyone else who would like to be heard in this matter? No? Any questions from the board? No questions. All right, I'll take a motion, please.
Motion to grant the application for a period of 3 years. To grant the balance of the application.
Second, all in favor? Aye. Application's granted. Thank you.
Application number 341-25, James Roche. Permission to erect one-story and two-story additions, leaving side yard of 17.5 feet instead of required 18 feet, and total side yards of 31.5 feet instead of required 36 feet. Residence AA District, east side of Pace Drive South, 906.66 feet south of Old Pond Court, West Islip.
No, we need half a foot on the north side. There's a pre-existing condition on the south side, which is substandard at 14 feet. Well, I was gonna do what I'm David DiGiovanni, 26 Preston Avenue, DiGiovanni Associates Architects. You know, so, right. Did you get that? 26 Preston Avenue, Seacliff, New York. So, do you want me to just hit the general facts, or?
Any questions from the board? No questions. Any comments on this?
No comment.
Is there anyone else who would like to be heard in this matter? I'll take a motion. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
See?
All in favor? Aye. Application granted.
Application number 342-25, Kenrick and Sarah Dukram. Permission to leave above-ground pool having side yard of 7.8 feet and rear yard of 9.8 feet, and pool deck having side yard of 8.1 feet instead of required 10 feet each, and shed having side yard of 1.2 feet instead of required 2 feet. Residence B District, east side of Merritt Street, 95.58 feet south of South Dyer Avenue, West Islip.
Christine Fay, Accurate Expediting, 286A Belmont Avenue, West Babylon. Not saying a word.
Go ahead.
Not saying a word.
No, you can.
No, you have to.
Okay.
Enlighten us.
So, on this one, good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. My clients are here seeking variance for the mentioned items. Basically, the original pool was toppled by the neighbor's tree, and they had one installed. They didn't know the zoning laws. We're here to ask for a variance. We feel it's in keeping with the nature and character of the neighborhood. We feel, although the hardship is self-created, that it's not a substantial request and would not affect the surrounding neighborhood. I'd like the board to consider granting the application.
No comment.
Anybody else like to be heard in this matter?
Thank you.
Application number 343-25, Rana Mangru, trustee of the Janki Singh and Krishendai Singh Irrevocable Trusts. Permission to leave roofed-over patio, having rear yard of 23.2 feet instead of required 25 feet, and floor area ratio of 30.2% instead of permitted 25%, and shed having 13.8 feet behind the front line of the dwelling instead of required 20. Residence B District, west side of Hyde Park Avenue, 220 feet south of Winchester Place, Bay Shore.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Len Crick, Island-wide Permit Services, office at 86 Center Street in Ronkonkoma. First of all, I do have to point out that the location of 47 Hyde Park Avenue is on the east side of Hyde Park Avenue.
Okay, we'll correct that.
Motion to amend?
Second, all in favor? Aye. So the application, it's been amended to read east side of Hyde Park Avenue.
And we're here tonight to address a couple of structures on the Singh property. There is a 120-square-foot, 8-foot-high shed in the north side yard that sits less than the required 20 feet behind the front of the house. But at 13.8 feet, it is holding 69% of that required setback. Submitted photos show the shed behind a 6-foot-high fence where it blends perfectly with the profile and color of the house, and only its roof can be seen from the street. The second structure is a 15.5 by 19-foot rear roof over a patio. Unfortunately, its construction did bump up the FAR to 30.2% on this modest 7,600-square-foot lot. But it does provide badly needed comfort in the rear yard of a lot that has only one shade tree that's barely 10 feet tall squeezed into the southeast corner of the property.
Mr. Crick, what type of precedent do you have? Is it an otherwise compliant neighborhood?
I'm sorry?
Is it an otherwise compliant neighborhood, or do you
I
have?
would say so, absolutely. There's, the neighborhood is dotted with second-story decks, as well as pools, sheds of various sides. And-
Okay,
Any FAR
Yeah, that's
variances in
kinda
the
what I was
500-foot radius that you know of?
Yes, yeah. As a
And-
matter of
and-
fact, there are a couple of houses across the street that are paving their side and rear yards, turning them into parking lots or storage yards.
So what are, of the FAR variances in the area, have you ascertained what they roughly are? What's the highest FAR?
I haven't checked, they are in, I haven't checked all of them. They are roughly in the 25 to 30% range.
Planning, you have anything?
In this case, the FAR is mostly a function of the fact of the roof over patio, which I think is relatively minor. I will say, there was one other grant, it was about 32%. It was granted on the stipulation that it was a porch. It was stipulated that it's never to be enclosed. I think that would be a pretty reasonable thing to apply here as well.
Okay. Does that make sense?
sure.
Is there anyone else who'd like to be heard in this matter? All right, I'll take a motion, please.
That's you.
A motion to grant the application on the condition that the patio causing the FAR to be 30.2% remain never to be enclosed.
All in favor?
Aye.
Application's granted with the condition. Thank you.
Thank you.
Application number 344-25, Robbins Walk LLC, permission to reconstruct deck leaving side yard of 2 feet instead of required 5 feet. Residence BAA District, west side of Robbins Walk, 180 feet west of right-of-way, Lonelyville.
Randall Whitebrook, 144 West Main Street, Bay Shore. This is regarding a 6,000 square foot lot. We recently commissioned a survey that shows that the existing deck is actually half a foot onto the neighbor's property, while the homeowner, I guess, could keep that as a nonconformity, doesn't want to do that, and has worked with the neighbors and decided to cut it back 2 feet if this board would so permit. The applicant and myself has discussed this with all of the neighbors, one of which is 26 Robbins Walk, who expressed us to move it as close to the letter of the law as possible. The only issue we see is the side door on that side of the property, and the north side leads out onto the deck. So it's kind of restricted as far as where the deck goes, and we couldn't fill up the deck to the other side because the septic system's there. So the application really is to take the existing deck, but take it off the neighbor's property and push it another 2 feet onto the subject property.
Mr. Whitebrook, approximately how long has this house been there?
It was built in 1965.
And the deck, while it may have been replaced, is generally the same as it has been?
Yeah, and it's locust post, so we're assuming it's the same condition and same era as the home.
Since they're going to be reconstructing the deck, why can't they make it comply? And do you have precedent of where we've granted 2 instead of 5?
They could make it comply, however, to walk around to the side of the house to where the back door is, doesn't really leave them much room, and I think we all know Fire Island enjoys decks out there. The neighboring property to the north has tremendous amount of landscaping that's existing there. and there's no living space on that side that would really be impacted. It hasn't been impacted by the existing deck, and it wouldn't be impacted by less of encroachment, number one. Number two, it's, I think, roughly 2 to 3 feet in height, so the impact really isn't there, and it hasn't been there since '65. But again, nobody wants deck on someone else's property, so the goal here is to move it more conforming.
It seems like the neighbor to the north, if I'm looking at the aerial correctly, has most of their activity on the other side of the property.
That's
where
correct.
this deck is. So there's-
That's correct.
So it's kind of minimal impact.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is.
I know that neighbor wrote a letter. That's the neighbor. Yeah, I know.
Planning, any comments?
As he was saying, it's not quite ground level, but 2 or 3 feet off the ground. This is not really all that uncommon on Fire Island for there to be decks that are close to side yards at the ground level.
Yes, that's Dan Creighton, that's who we're discussing with, yeah. Thank you. Have a good night.
Application number 345-25, Christopher Robas and Angelina Echevarria. Permission to establish accessory apartment pursuant to Islip Town Code, Section 68-616, Residence A District, north side of Stolly Street, 500 feet west of Broadway Avenue, Brentwood.
Hi, my name is Christopher Robles. I reside at 79 Stiley Street, Brentwood, New York.
Angelina Echevarria.
We're here for permission to accessory an apartment.
Right. Any questions from the board at this time? No. Planning, any comments on this?
No comment.
Is there anyone else that'd like to be heard in this matter? Take a motion, please. All in favor? Aye. Application's granted for 3 years.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Application number 346-25, Real Estate Plaza, Inc., permission to leave one-story dwelling with elevated entry platform having front yard of 24 feet instead of required 40 feet, 6-foot fence on property line not having required setback of 10 feet, and 4-foot fence in corner site triangle exceeding permitted height of 3 feet. Residence AA District, southwest corner of East Forks Road and Connecticut Avenue, Bay Shore.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Thomas Bloor, the architect for the project, 60 Carlton Avenue, Suite 202, Islip Terrace, New York, 11752. The intent of this application is to leave a one-story dwelling, currently doesn't have a CO, has an elevated entry platform, leave the 6-foot fence on the property line, and this existing 4-foot fence. We're requesting the front yard setback of 24 feet instead of the required 40. It's a raised, open to the air entry platform. It's approximately 3 foot 4 inches high, doesn't contain a roof over it. I believe the platform was original to the home, constructed circa 1948. The home itself has a setback of 33.9 feet. And again, the current CO just has a detached garage on it, built 1961, and a previously abandoned pool. So we're just looking to obtain a CO for an old house built in 1948, plus or minus. As far as the fence, it's really just a small piece of fence in the front that leads to a little arbor over a gate. So it's about 6 feet of fence that goes from 3 foot 6 inches high up to 6 feet. Has a decorative little arbor over a little gate that's 4 foot high, and then slopes right back down. So it's about 6 linear feet, then another 6 linear feet of fence on a big property. And as far as the site triangle, the fence itself measures 3 foot 6 inches high, then tapers up to 4 feet. It's vertical white posts that you can completely see through, and you also have a large right-of-way. You have about an additional 11 foot 10 inches from the edge of pavement on Connecticut Avenue and about 10 feet from the edge of pavement on East Forks Road. And you can completely see through it. So we have a very small triangulated portion that's just penetrating the site triangle. If you guys want to see it highlighted, I can hand you up a survey where it's just highlighted.
Testify that the fence was only, 40 inches high or something like that. So we actually amended it to reflect that it was a smaller variance.
Yeah.
So we're just double checking to see if the surveyor indicates, it seems like the surveyor indicates that it's 4 foot high near the arbor. Are you saying it gets lower, or the
If you
surveyor just rounded up?
If you want, just take a look at these. It'll make like props on photos, and then just look at the highlights on my plot plan. Oh, yeah, this entire house. I mean, you can look at the stone on it in this picture you're going to look at, and even that front stoop, it has the same exact stone as the house. There is no CO on this house. We have a CO. We believe the house built to 48. We don't know. If it was 20 years older, the building department didn't exist. The CO states a detached garage built circa 1961 and an in-ground pool. The in-ground pool has since been removed.
With regards to the entry platform, I couldn't figure out quite if it was original to the house, but I know it's been there since at least around 1980, so it wouldn't surprise me if it was original to the house. As far as the fence goes, I see what you're talking about in the front there, the arbor. I don't have any issue with that. I think the 6-foot fence variance being called out, though, is along Connecticut Avenue on the side, which is a majority of that, if I'm seeing that correctly. Because it's a 10-foot setback, which would be second front yard, not primary front. So I believe it's calling out the 6-foot fence that goes from the back corner there towards the front of the house.
Oh, I see what you mean, yeah. Yeah, I'm not concerned with that being approved as part of this variance, you know.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah, not the portion of 6-foot fence. Yeah,
Yeah, the arbor sort of entrance thing I have no issue with.
yeah, understood.
As far as the side triangle goes, this is actually the rare case where it's actually for the intersection and not just somebody's driveway, so I'm a little wary about that. Usually when we see these, it's just for a driveway as opposed to an intersection, but I don't know. The surveyor calls it out as 4 feet. I'm not sure what the reality is. I haven't seen the pictures.
Yeah, if you look, it's pretty clear in that one picture. No. Yeah, it goes from 3'6", and then it goes whoop, to 4 feet. Right.
Anyway.
Yep.
And I see a stop sign in front of the house. Do you happen to know if it's an all-way stop at that location?
I
or-
don't believe it
Yeah,
is.
okay.
I
I'm
believe
trying to
it's-
see in your
I can
photos,
try
but
and figure that out.
I see that it's definitely a two-way stop. Just
I
not
think
sure
it's a
it's,
two-way stop only. Right? Or does it say all? No, it is. Yeah, it says all. Yeah.
Stop all the way.
that helps.
Is there anyone else who'd like to be heard in this matter? Any other questions from the board?
Yeah, it's a 4-way stop, looks like.
Nope. You got a motion?
He asked me if I did.
Okay.
I'll make a motion, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll make a motion that we deny so much of the application seeking a 6-foot fence on the property line, not having required setback of 10 feet, and grant to remain the application.
Need a second, please? All in favor? Aye. Application's denied.
Thank you. Have a great evening.
Balance.
Who seconded that? You? Chris. Chris. Okay. Application number 347-25, Cynthia Gaston. Permission to renew accessory apartment pursuant to Islip Town Code Section 68-616. Residence AA District, north side of Beach Street, 135 feet east of Islip Avenue, Islip.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Cynthia Gaston. I'm here just to get the permissions to renew my accessory apartment. Oh, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Cynthia Gaston. I'm here this afternoon to get the permissions to renew my accessory apartment. Yes. Say it again?
Indicating that there is an ongoing noise disturbance caused by numerous dogs being left
When
outside.
they called me to give me this appointment, they told me that, but I do have 2 poodles, but all the circle around of my house, they have dogs, they have big dog, but I have the small dog.
Okay. Just wanted you to be aware of that.
Yes, I do know about it. I told them.
Planning, any comments on this?
No comment.
Thank you. Have a good afternoon.
Application, number 348-25, I believe we have a request for an adjournment, Willows and 60 LLC. Is anybody here to be heard on that application? Just you.
Hi, good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. My name is Stephanie with Dynamic Expediting with offices located at 231 Islip Avenue.
We are. In a minute.
Looking for an open adjournment. Oh, sorry. We're looking for an open adjournment in order to add additional items to the denial.
Okay, we want to see if anyone else here on this matter? No, okay, so we'll take a motion to adjourn, open adjournment, please. Motion, all right, so we've granted you an
Thank you.
open adjournment, thank you.
Have a good evening.
Did Roxanne give you any kind of idea how long she thinks maybe it'll be adjourned?
She did not. She just wanted to go over with the property owners and then get back to you on the date.
Okay, very good, thank you.
Have a good one.
Application number 349-25, Alyssa Byrus Toff and Christopher Prague Toff Jr. Permission to erect one-story addition, leaving side yards of 21.3 feet and 23.6 feet instead of required 25 feet each, and total side yards of 44.9 feet instead of required 60 feet. Residence AAA District, east side of MacArthur Boulevard, 200 feet north of John Street, Hauppauge.
Hi, my name is Alyssa Toff. I reside at 441 MacArthur Boulevard in Hauppauge. This is my dad, Andrew Byrus.
I'm Andrew Byrus, 148 50 Acre Road South, Smithtown, New York. We're here for a,
Could you speak into the microphone,
we're
please?
here for a side yard relief of 21.3 feet from 25 feet, and a total aggregate of 60 feet to 44.9 for an addition, master bedroom and a bathroom addition.
Planning, any comments on this?
Yeah, MacArthur Boulevard, this lot and every single other lot seemingly along this are 100-foot wides, where 150 would be required, so it kind of follows that the side yards would be a bit closer than average. I assume most of the houses are like that.
Any questions from the board? Is there anyone else who'd like to be heard in this matter? Okay, I'll take a motion, please.
Make a motion to approve the application.
All in favor? Aye. Application is granted.
Thank you.
Application number 350-25, Christopher Laporte and Michelle Leinhardt. Permission to erect second-story addition, leaving front yard of 16 feet instead of required 25 feet, and roofed-over porch, leaving front yard of 10.98 feet instead of permitted encroachment setback of 19 feet. To leave roofed-over patio, having side yard of 8.25 feet instead of required 14 feet. To erect one- and two-story additions, all having side yards of 22.75 feet instead of required 28 feet, and floor area ratio of 26.31% instead of permitted 25%, and to use dwelling for two-family, family use only pursuant to Islip Town Code Section 68-419.1. Residence B District, south side of South Robert Street, 700 feet west of Coates Avenue, Holbrook.
Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Vincenza Solfo, and this is my daughter, Michelle Leonhardt, who's the owner of the house, and we're looking to build an extension for me.
Okay. Planning, you want, how are you with this application?
Break it down.
So this is an existing front yard for the most part. It's existing, very non-conforming at the dead end here. In that sense, I don't suppose it would probably bother anybody being at the dead end, because not many people will be seeing it, but it's certainly a very difficult application in terms of the amount of relief being requested, and I don't know, I couldn't find anything necessarily to justify it other than that. I believe at least partially it is existing as a second story.
I'm just taking the first item, it's 16 instead of 25 front yard. Is there any precedent for that?
No, that's what I was saying. There isn't really, other than the fact this house currently exists at that setback. I assume it was originally built that way. I don't know how old the house is. built circa 1938, and it's CO'd.
My view is that it already kind of pushes the boundary, how much more do we want to push?
So I think this is what it looks like right now. So it's partial second story, I guess? Is that correct? That's what it looks like right now?
Yeah, that's it. I have a full second story. I have 4 bedrooms.
Okay, yeah.
So there's been a small second-story addition over that area that currently exists at 16.
So this area right here, right?
Addition is only 9.46 by 16. So that part is just a small addition. But there's a larger addition to fit on, and that's a larger 2-story addition, which is further recessed toward the back of the property in the side yard. So in line with that part of the house that you see beyond the existing front part of the house, the second addition is going in line with that.
I'm sorry?
So it's not
No.
depicted very clearly on the plot plan, but the majority of this addition, for the two-family use only, is set back more than 25 feet from the front property. Nick, if you could just rotate this a little bit so that you can see the side yard and the driveway and where the addition is going.
I cannot get any further down. No.
So you see how the house has a recessed part that's a full 2 stories?
Hmm?
The addition is going in line with that, with the exception of the small one that's just going in the front at the 16-foot side. What are you doing in the front there, over the front of the?
So we're just extending my son's bedroom a little bit because he just moved back. And then the extension for her is just the first level. We're adding a 5th bedroom because I have 4 kids. And now they each need their own room.
Right, those are further back on the street.
Correct.
And it's 14.5 proposed garage instead of what? 18?
Yeah, I believe that side is next to like a commercial property over here. So yeah.
Rezoning, so 14 is all that's required.
Okay. And still pretty far under the maximum we allow of 30%.
No, it's a large lot. The house is just situated in an awkward spot and has been historically.
Anyone else would like to be heard in this matter?
Thank you.
Thank you. Still. Thank you.
Thank you.
Application number 351-25, Kelly Komorowski. Permission to install in-ground pool with attached hot tub and slide, leaving side yard and rear yard of 10 feet instead of required 18 feet each, and to leave pergola having front yard of 26 feet instead of required 35 feet. Residence AA District, northeast corner of Wyndham Lane and Buckingham Drive, Holbrook.
Andrew Malguinera, 713 Main Street, Port Jefferson, agent. So we're looking to install a proposed in-ground pool. As you can see from the property, it's the optimal spot for the yard. There's a corner lot, so stay away from the street, stay away from the house. There's significant vegetation between the neighboring properties. most of the pool encroaches because of said slide and said spa on the neighboring side. And again, heavily vegetated. I don't believe there'll be any adverse effects. Looking at the aerials, there appears to be numerous pools of significant, of similar setbacks. I don't know the exact amount. Maybe the planner could enlighten on that. But I don't believe it would be out of character. And if the board has any questions. Proposed pool. There was an existing above ground pool before, yeah. Yes. Understood. I respect everything the board is saying, and this is what the request was. Obviously, we'll have to acquiesce. We just want to keep it away from the house as much as we can as well. Yes. Understood. Okay. Again, yeah. I don't know what's been granted in the area.
As far as I can tell, there's no other pool in here that's asked for any relief. They all seem to be in conforming locations, from what I can tell. This one also, in theory, could be. I think the existing above-ground pool is in a conforming location. Granted, it's in the middle of the yard. I'm sure they wouldn't want to put it there, understandably, but
yeah,
it's 145 feet wide here. They are 106 feet from the other side. I feel like they could move it to a more conforming location. It wouldn't be that difficult.
Yeah, I mean, if the board feels it's an excessive ask, then understood. We just wanted to, move it as much to the corner as possible, being that we want to save the yard. The other pool was done by the previous owner and made the yard kind of. Understood. I just want to make note on the pergola side, the pergola was there prior to ownership, so. Thank you. I appreciate that. I love to hear it. Thank you. Sal, yes. I love to hear it. I hear the compliments weekly. I love to hear it. I have the same amount of hair as he had, so I don't know. So yeah. He passed away 4 years ago. 71. Yeah, Dick Shire. Yeah, Dick Shire was a great guy as well. Yes. Yes, I stick with Brookhaven. This was a favor that I did. I told him I'll do it. I don't know how it's gonna go, but it can't hurt to ask. So I appreciate you listening. Thank you.
Application number 352-25, Jose L. Veliz, permission to establish accessory apartment pursuant to Islip Town Code, Section 68-602, Residence B District, northeast corner of Brook Avenue and Bruce Street, Bay Shore.
Good evening. Hope everybody's bad as well. My name is Salim Ibrahim. I reside at 3663 Fiddler Lane, Fiddler, Lane, Bethpage, New York, 11714. Jaime requested an approval for accessory apartment. It used to be a garage in Breezeway. The apartment, we have 2 bedroom, 1 bathroom, and a small kitchen. The access will be towards the backyard, and then also the main entrance access to the main house. It's about 670 square feet of area for the apartment. And also, I believe we received some comments for the driveway review that we're working on, satisfy the recommendation of the planning department. Any questions?
No comment.
Thank you. Have a nice evening.
Application number 353-25, Julio and Odalias Vasquez, permission to erect second-story addition, leaving side yard of 9.15 feet instead of required 14 feet. Residence B District, east side of Illinois Avenue, 50 feet south of Idaho Avenue, Bay Shore.
Good evening, Chairman, members of the board. Christopher Ang, 83 East Main Street, Patchogue, New York. On this application, we're asking for a side yard relief of 9.15 instead of the required 14 feet for a second-story addition. The 9.15 foot setback is existing, and we're looking to maintain that setback by going up with the second story.
Planning, you got any?
Yeah, so this particular addition, it's about 250 square feet. It's relatively modest addition here. It is a non-conforming side, existing, going straight up. I don't have too much of an issue with it, considering the size of the addition. It also is Residence B, so 10 feet is pretty common in Residence B in general, as it was historically, that was conforming. So it wouldn't surprise me if there's a lot around this.
This would fit right in.
Potentially, yes. I think it probably would. A lot of these areas that were built in the 50s and 60s in Res B have 10-foot side yards for first stories for certain, and sometimes second stories.
Any other questions from the board?
No questions.
No, does anyone else like to be heard in this matter? Okay, I'll take a motion, please.
I'll make a motion to grant the application.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Thank you.
Application granted.
Thank you.
Application number 354-25, Ryan and Brianna Mecca, permission to erect one-story addition, 16 by 31, leaving side yard of 10.2 feet instead of required 14 feet, and floor area ratio of 30.5% instead of permitted 25%. Residence B District, south side of Allens Point Road, 150 feet east of Degnan Boulevard, Bay Shore.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. Amy DeVito, Woodhull Expediting with offices at 800 Veterans Memorial Highway, Hauppauge, New York. So the intent of this application is to erect a attached garage. It's going to be used for storage of cars. It is a small lot. It doesn't have a garage. It also, I don't think it has a basement. So this garage will also be utilized for storage. As part of this application, the applicant is proposing to move the large shed that is on the property. I'm happy to answer any questions the board may have.
Ms. DeVito, I know you've researched this thoroughly. We see the 30.5.
Yes.
Do you have any plenty of precedent to support that?
So I did actually speak to Nick about this case earlier today, and I don't think there's any precedence for 30.5 unless Nick is keeping a secret from me.
So if it's not, 30% would be probably where this board would be thinking about.
Yes.
Did we not grant you 30% a couple of years ago?
I didn't represent them for
Oh,
that
your client?
application, but yeah, from what I understand, I think it was granted at 30%.
And why didn't they, why didn't they proceed with the prior application, what we granted?
It was a different set of circumstances. They were,
Yes.
they had just acquired the house. There was probably still money in escrow or something.
They were
They
legalizing.
had to legalize some
Yes.
roofed-over decks and such that have since been removed. So
How
they're
much
essentially.
does this application differ, or is it?
Well, they're asking to build a one-car attached garage, so they're asking to basically transfer the FAR from.
So they're gonna remove something and build something?
Correct.
So you're good with 30% on those?
If that is what the board is going to grant, I'm good with it.
Planning, you good with anything?
Yeah, 30% works.
Is there anyone else that'd like to be heard in this matter?
Wasn't that a safe bet?
I think it was. I feel pretty good about what just happened.
Oh, good. You feel good about it?
Well, can I get a motion before anything?
Yeah, before Wexler changes his mind, come on.
Nothing's happened yet.
Right, before Wexler changes his mind. I'll make a motion that we deny someone to the application seeking 30.5, but the kindness of our hearts grant 30%.
Second.
Remainder of the application.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Application's granted at
Thank you.
30%.
Have a good evening.
Get those pictures from Meg before.
Application number 355-25, Thomas Lotito, trustee of the Thomas Lotito Revocable Trust. Is anybody here in that application?
Second call.
Yeah, okay.
Second call. Yeah, that was gonna be a-
Application number 356-25 it was. Habitat for Humanity of Long Island, Inc. Permission to erect one-story dwelling on lot having width of 50 feet instead of required 75 feet and area of 5,000 square feet instead of required 7,500 square feet. Residence B District, north side of Brewster Street, 350 feet west of Park Avenue, Bay Shore.
Good evening. My name is Chris McNamee here representing Habitat for Humanity. I'm the Director of Construction, 330 Birchwood Road, Medford, 11763. This lot is non-conforming by area. It was deeded to us by the Islip CDA for the purpose of building an affordable house. So we had the house designed so that it conforms to all setbacks. It's just the lot size that does not conform.
Planning, any comments?
So this is a case that's actually relatively similar to one we had a couple months ago for Zero Cypress. This is a leftover substandard lot in an otherwise relatively compliant neighborhood. What happened here is there was actually a subdivision in '97 where 9 Brewster, which is the property to the east, that was actually a non-conforming lot at the time. They actually took 25 feet of this lot and transferred it over there to make a conforming lot. So we took one non-conforming lot, made that one conforming, which that one was developed at a time where a 50-foot wide lot actually was allowed. So really what we have here is you move it from one place or the other. Historically, this had a 50-foot wide lot, one of them on this and one of them on Hanson. It just happened to be from the file map. It was filed in 1901. It ended up being this way where there's a bit of leftover space. Given that, I don't think there's really any issue with this application. They're not asking for anything. They are fitting the house on this substandard lot. And with the exception of the other 0 Brewster Street, I don't believe any possible subdivisions are really likely in this situation. They're all 7,500-foot lots. And the one at 0 Brewster, to be honest, I don't think would be a very good application, even if they were to try to use this as a precedent. So planning is in support of the application.
Okay. Questions from the board?
No questions.
Now, is anyone else would like to be heard in this matter? All right, I'll take a motion, please. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, ma'am, if you could please come up. Thank you.
There we go. Yes.
Hello, good evening. Marie Jaffrey, 13 Brewster Street, Bay Shore. My question is, I got the paper. I wasn't sure what, like, I know the area, but like when they say demolishing the single family, does that mean that an apartment's going to be built there? Like,
We're not demolishing anything. It is a vacant lot, and we're building a, oh, I'm sorry. It's a vacant lot, and we're just building a single-story, three-bedroom house.
Single story?
Yes.
Okay, so because it said this.
Yes,
so
Habitat for
Yeah,
Humanity.
I thought that it's gonna be like apartments or
Oh, no.
for low income?
Single-family.
Okay.
Yeah, one-story
Oh,
house.
okay.
This is what it's going to look like.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. Thanks. I just wanted to come in and see. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Application number 357-25, JLP and Associates, Inc. Permission to subdivide lot into two parcels, leaving lot areas of 8,764 square feet and 8,814 square feet instead of required 11,250 square feet each, and to exceed compensating excavation provision 68-442A3C by proposing 20.5 cubic yards of surplus fill within the floodplain. Residence A District, west side of Bayview Avenue, 468.7 feet north of Harriet Road, Bayport.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. For the applicant, Joseph F. Bazell, Blanda Visconti, 535 Broad Hollow Road, Suite B4 in Melville. May I first say, I thought the hottest part of my summer was going to be my trip to Greece, but after today, I've got my doubts on that. The application seeks a re-subdivision of parcels located on the west side of Bayview Avenue, about 469 feet north of Harriet Road. I'm sorry? Well, re-subdivision means that there are two tax lots, there are two addresses, but they're in common ownership. So we're reestablishing the independence of the parcels.
That's correct. The town would consider them merged because they're in common ownership, but they were originally separate parcels.
So we're about 469 feet north of Bayview and about 890 feet north of the Great South Bay. There are two tax lots, 33 and 34, two addresses, 162 and 168 Bayview. It's 150 feet wide with an average depth of 117.19 feet. The property was created by the map of Ocean Bay Park, filed October 8, 1930. It's a corridor map, which means it's long and narrow. It created the lots on both sides of Bayview and on the on the east side of Edgewater, from Middle Road down to Harriet. The line which divides the lots on Bayview from the lots on Edgewater is not exactly perfectly even, so the rear yard depth of all the lots slightly varies. This is in the middle of that group. Correct. Side yard, rear yard, or front yard, or FAR. Correct. Correct. And if you look at like the 500-foot area map,
I think it kind of speaks for itself. I think a re-subdivision was actually a pretty good choice of words. It's basically reestablishing what was historically there, and it's very much in character of the neighborhood. This looks like every other lot here.
it would be foolish of me to say anything else at this point. Thank you very much. Have a great evening.
No, it's not much.
Application number 358-25, HNK Home Improvement LLC. Permission to reconstruct 1.5-story dwelling to 2-story dwelling on lot having area of 6,474 square feet instead of required 40,000 square feet. Lot width of 50 feet instead of required 150 feet, leaving front yard of 18.5 feet instead of required 50 feet. Side yards of 17.1 and 9.1 instead of required 25 feet each. Total side yards of 26.96 feet instead of required 60 feet. To install egress windows, leaving side yards of 6.9 feet and 13.8 feet instead of required 25 feet each. all having floor area ratio of 35% instead of permitted 25%. Residence AAA District, west side of Dow Street, 825 feet north of Suffolk Avenue, Central Islip.
Good evening, Board. Good evening. We bought this, my son? So we bought this house, and my name is Gino Bolivar, 30th West Pine Street, Islip, New York, 11751. Thank you, sir. So we bought the house, and we're trying to reuse the same footprint and do the second floor complete. We're pretty much using what's already there and asking for a 10-foot extension on the back of the house. We already have a Board of Health permit for the sanitary system, so we're not affecting that area at all.
Yeah, so this is one of a few neighborhoods around this sort of big vacant parcel that we, I think, believe used to be a farm, that are zoned AAA that honestly probably shouldn't be. I don't think there's a single lot in this entire neighborhood that meets 40,000 square feet or 150 feet wide. Now they vary in that. This is definitely one of the smaller lots in this area, but it's had a house on there historically. So I believe all of these setbacks are existing. Certainly the lot width and lot area, this has historically had a house. I don't really think they're in contention. The setbacks, although very heavy and extreme in this case, are again existing. Maybe not a two-story, although I would point out for that the house to the south is situated such on the lot that it's over 100 feet away. So even though this setback is very close, in terms of actual impact, I believe it's mitigated by the fact that the other house is substantially set back from their property line in this case. Really, the only thing here that stands out is not justified to me is the FAR. I don't see any reason we should give 35%. It's not in character. I understand they have a smaller lot than usual for this area, but still I don't think that necessarily justifies this. It's not so substandard of a lot that I believe we should take that into consideration to give them more than usual. For FAR, not that I'm aware of.
We could do that if we can get. We were really trying to get the extra the back to make it more roomy because the house is so narrow, to make it more comfortable to put the.
It is narrow. It's a small lot.
Yeah, so we couldn't go sideways. We figured if we could get that 10 feet, there's already a concrete patch we might have to rip out or anything back. I'm sorry, say again, sir? Yes. Yes. No.
I think building usually uses reconstruct when it's a substantial enough amount of additions that they might consider it a new dwelling.
They almost consider it new, yes, sir.
Yeah. They're not demolishing anything.
No.
I think the reason is that, if I'm not incorrect, there was a stop work order in 2022. So it started off as a one-story. Then there was some work done. Now they're proposing a bit of additional work and to legalize everything that already happened, is what I believe is happening.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. The next one is mine also.
You want to make an appearance on this one?
Yes.
Yeah, the other one's mine.
Application number
The next one's mine.
359-25, SSP Royal Properties LLC. Permission to erect two-story dwelling on lot having area of 7,500 square feet instead of required 11,250 square feet. Lot width of 50 feet instead of required 75 feet. leaving side yard of 4.75 feet instead of required 14 feet, total side yards of 18.75 feet instead of required 28 feet, and floor area ratio of 35.76% instead of permitted 25%. Residence A District, north side of Crooked Hill Road, 653 feet east of Leahy Avenue, Brentwood.
Sir?
Gino Bolivar, 30th West Pine Street, Islip, New York, 11751.
Thank you.
And this is also our property.
I'm asking, how do we justify 4.75 instead of 14? Or am I reading that wrong?
Sir, it's actually, the house is actually 8 feet, 4.9 is because of the staircase, a small two-step, 3-riser staircase, a very small staircase for the entrance there. And we have a similar house on, I think, number 208.
But, okay, I see that. But how do we grant 8 instead of 14? That's like 60%, unless that's what the neighborhood holds. Maybe Nick will tell us that.
Yes, sir, there are a few similar houses, and we're pretty much in the same ratio.
And also, thank you, and also, Nick, maybe you can tell us about the 35.7 FAR.
Yeah, so
Learn us.
this, oh, am I up?
You're up.
All right, I'm up.
You're on.
So the Crooked Hill Road here has a very long history, storied history with the Board of Appeals. There's been many grants and denials for substandard lots here. What's been consistent about the approvals, I should say, for the substandard lots is that I believe in all cases the board held a very firm position that they should not, this is to erect a dwelling, should hold all other zoning compliance. So you can have a lot width and lot area. They don't want you to ask for any side yards. They don't want you to even ask for above 25% FAR. That's written into decisions in this area in the past. It is also consistent with the policy of the planning department for developing substandard lots that have not historically had a house. In fact, we just saw a grant just a couple cases ago with the Habitat for Humanity where we did exactly that. It's a substandard lot. They otherwise completely conform to zoning. So as it currently stands, this is asking for too much. If the applicant were willing to otherwise comply, I believe the substandard lot itself could be approved. The only thing planning would ask is that, and this is probably something you would have to do to get a CO for this from the building department. This is a fairly dangerous road. It's 4 lanes with a middle, turning lane.
Yes.
Having these small lots on here can be a bit of a risk, so we would ask any driveway that is installed have room to turn around a car. We don't want anybody backing out into Crooked Hill Road.
We can do that, sir.
But did you understand everything that he said, that they wouldn't be averse if there were no variances granted, other than on the property size? Everything else has to comply. Side yard, front yard, FAR.
We move the house from the center to that one side where at 4.9
It's
is.
gotta comply, that's all we said, you can move it any way you want.
So in other words, no variance for any
No
setback
Well, you get a variance on the
On the
lot
lot
size and the,
on their side.
Planning's position is that you could build a house here. Currently, you would need to get permission to even build anything here, so long as it otherwise complies.
Yeah, I was looking at one down the road that has like a 3.9 feet setback on the side yard. I figured
We
we
don't
were
know that,
within.
sir.
That may not be
A lot of those houses were there at a
Yes.
time before,
That's why we decided to draw that.
this is
All
a
right.
currently vacant lot.
Okay, so we'll take what we get.
okay, does anyone else like to be heard in this matter? All right, I'll take a motion then for Brentwood.
No, just. You want me to? Okay, I'm going to make a motion that we're going to deny so much of the application. And the only thing we are going to grant is that allow erection of a 2-story dwelling on a lot area of 7,500
No,
feet. Pardon?
I'm sorry, I wasn't sure it was gonna be 2 stories, but that's fine. It could be 2 stories if that works.
2-story.
Is that okay?
And is that the only variance we're granting?
Lot width.
Oh, and a lot width of 50 feet instead of 75 feet. All other variance applications will be denied.
Second. All in favor? So you've been granted the lot area and the lot width. and
I'll
that's
take
it.
that, sir. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Take care.
Okay. Give me 1 second, I'm just writing these notes.
to make sure no one's here on application 35525?
Bill Wexler.
One of the officers, you guys aren't here on that one?
Is that your application, officer?
Okay, so we have 13 accessory apartments and three two-family family use onlys to renew for a period of 3 years.
Motion. Second, all in favor?
And we have, no, they just were no-show. Yeah. I'll have to contact them and find out. We have 2 formerly reserved decisions to read into the record. Application number 170-25, JG Endeavors LLC. In accordance with a proposed written decision dated June 24, 2025, the application is granted on motion of...
Second.
Aye.
All in favor? Aye.
All right. Application number 197-25, Omar Alejandro Enamorado Alas. In accordance with a proposed written decision dated June 24, 2025, the application is denied with regard to the second-story addition, however, granted permission to maintain a side yard of no less than 7.5 feet, and granted the remainder of the application with the accessory apartment being for a period of 3 years. On motion of?
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, all done.
Our next board
Was denied.